Thanks so much for working with Urban Airship. I'm really glad to be working with you.
And as the Internet of Things really starts to show up, maybe some of you have nests at home or other things that are happening in and around your life. Our clothes will soon be internet and enabled. And all of a sudden, the ability to communicate with customers and for brands to have this conversation, the number of places and touch points is going to explode. And that's both a huge opportunity for brands. It's an interesting challenge for us as human beings because we want to be in the know, right? We want to know what's going on, which is why we're keeping this thing so close to us all the time. We're gathering all kinds of knowledge, insight, and understanding and data about customers. We're learning more and more about behaviors and actions and results like we've never been able to before. At the same time, people's walls are up. They're going up higher and faster than ever before. Probably because every touch and swipe results in someone, somewhere, at some company capturing, gathering, and trying to manage that experience.
We do crazy things. We'd send out surveys, we'd interrupt people in shopping malls, and we thought that was going to give us the answer to the question. But we all know they all lied to us, that the data that we collected was very limited or useless. Observer bias, people wanted to look good, or maybe they were drunk, I don't know. But there's a new way. It's obviously in your app. The people in your app do not lie to you. It's like what a panel should have been, but they don't lie. And as it works, the most valuable people generally to your brand are the people in your app. Maybe they're not all in there, but the people that actually you want the most, like your most loyal customers, they're in there. And the great thing is you don't have to ask them anything. Their behavior tells you everything that you need to know. And the great thing about this is this scales up and down. If you've got 1,000 customers or 10 million, their behavior will give you a lot of really great insight. And the key thing here is that it's not just aggregate counts of information. Like, who cares if 100 people did a thing? You need to know what people did what thing. And so that's another beautiful thing about mobile apps. You get this user level data. You get, what are they doing? Did their user profile change? What did it change to? Did they install something? Did they go inactive? Did they look at a certain screen? Did they tap a button? Did they delete your app? Oh God. Yes, probably. But the great thing is you can take all this data and put it anywhere you want. You can stream it to your data warehouse. You can send it to your ad network. You can. Customers and brands need is they need a centralized user profile that's open, that they can collect events and attributes from anywhere, so that they can get a holistic view of the person. So that comes from decades-old technologies like email. It comes from websites, but it also comes from a bunch of these new experiences. And so how do you collect that information so you can serve people better? And then next, how do we reach these people wherever they are? And how do we do it, as Mike McGuire was talking about, in a way that isn't just throwing stuff at it? How do you personalize it? How do you automate it? How do you leverage all this data to really serve them? And so obviously, we're really focused on things inside of the app. Clearly notifications. I mentioned we send just the absurd amount of them, but we also do a bunch of other things inside of the app. And we announced this yesterday. We're expanding the notifications that we can send to the web, but we're also going to go one further than that. We think that given the attention spans of people and what they can consume, the notification experience is great. It's a bit of text, it's a couple of buttons, it's a movie, it's a GIF. That will continue to expand what that form factor is, but we're also going to bring that experience everywhere. So we're opening up all the systems that we can send notifications to. And we announced this yesterday as well, but the first kind of example of that is Apple News, where we're now able to send notifications on behalf of our media customers to Apple News. But the last thing I'll leave you with is that everything that mobile has driven is driving this kind of new reality. This continual shift of this platform just means that we have to do things differently to serve people. And so when you engage folks, it's got to be individualized. You don't want to just send the same thing to everybody. It has to be mobile-led. That is what the platform is, and where it's going to continue to go for the next decade. And then it has to be real time. Nobody cares if you have a batch job that runs at a certain time. They're available for a moment. You gotta reach them when they're ready. And the experiences that you create have to be win-win. It's got to be great for your brand, but it also has to be something that that person cares about. So you got to serve them and not spam them. And it has to be on their time. They're available for a moment, but they're in control. They can delete your app, or they can rip you out of whatever experience that they're in. And lastly, you have to be able to reach them in any of these channels. And so our point of view is that the companies that win are going to be the ones that command their customers' attention, and it's a very limited commodity. So thanks for listening.
Okay, so I want to reset here for a second.
So really, that's a great way. Sometimes I like to think about it like you have this big huge customer, and then the more IDs.
Okay, so we wanted to stitch together, provide an experience of using Urban Airship, open channels, and open profile, really create a personalized VIP-like experience. So one of those seamless experiences that Mark McGuire is talking about as they move through their day, and across multiple touch points, all connected to a single profile. And so what we did, so the scenario we came up with was a guy named Kyle. He works in marketing technology. He's beginning of his day, he's looking at the news, marketing news, and then he receives a web notification. So he's opted into his web browser. Things come up. There's a special offer on tickets, so he takes them up, he buys tickets, and you can just click on that. It takes you into standard commerce workflow. So time passes. He's all set for the game. So he checks his personal email over lunch, and he sees that he's received an email, follow-up invitation actually to a signing event just before the game. DeMarcus Cousins is going to sign these, and he can either show this email at the door, or he can actually add a pass to his wallet. And so that does nice things because it's more convenient. It can show up on a lock screen, that sort of thing. But you can click on that, download it to the phone, click it, very conveniently. So later on in the day, because he's in the past, he's initiated a conversation with through Facebook Messenger through the Kings. He can actually send a follow-up notification. So he receives actually. Here, he actually receives a message. This says Urban Airship, but imagine it says Sacramento Kings. You can get a game update. So Kevin Durant comes off the injured list, so he's going to play, and he can like it or whatever it is, or share that. But he can also click on details for directly within Facebook Messenger. So. Next idea, then he goes home, he's got a connected device. This is our we didn't have an Alexa, they haven't exposed messaging to Amazon Echo yet, but we rigged one up where actually is actually gets a notice.
Heavy traffic on the 5. Better leave for the game 20 minutes early.
So it may be hard to understand him because it's a lower, it's just running on a Raspberry Pi, but it sent it a notification that says better leave 20 minutes early. There's been a wreck on the 5, so they can, with location targeting, get everybody who's going to the game,